There was a famous quote that he said, "If you walk, I will walk with you." And I find that just so touching. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Leilani of Barbados. We are in mourning here in the UK for the next 8 days. Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, has passed away. And I just wanted to send out my condolences to the royal family, especially the Queen, because her husband, although he was in a backseat position, he really was the head of the household and he was her rock. And there's so much to talk about with him. I just want to say that I'm wearing this dress that I wore to my grandmother's funeral 2 years ago. I was very close to my grandmother and I have not worn this dress since, but it is, I don't know if you can see it. But yeah, it's pretty sad times for us right now. So I just wanted to talk about what's going to happen with Meghan and Harry. I feel like Harry was very close to his grandfather. The Duke of Edinburgh, we know well in the Commonwealth because he started the Duke of Edinburgh Awards, which was sort of like a Boy Scout challenge thing. And you could receive these awards in Barbados, in the Commonwealth, in school. You could receive them in boarding school, the most expensive ones in England. It reached a lot of different people. And then of course Harry had his Invictus game, so I kind of think, oh, okay, interesting. But really important is that Prince Philip really supported those boys when Princess Diana died, and he encouraged them to walk behind her coffin. There was a famous quote that he said, "If you walk, I will walk with you." And I find that just so touching that he was there for them in that time. And the Queen, everybody supported them in that time when Princess Diana died. That's why they took so long to come out with a statement, because she was busy trying to protect them and look out for them. So he was a strong, stable person, but he was also a war hero. He was given an award in the Royal Navy. My husband was telling me that he saved a vessel by setting another vessel alight in order to confuse the enemy. And yeah, he was a strong man. He had his own thing going on in terms of the Navy. So we know him. We know who he is. But it's just that I just feel so badly because he was going to be 100 years old in June, which would have meant that they would have had a huge to-do, and party and all sorts of things if he had made it to 100 years old. There is speculation as to whether or not Harry would have been there for these events, had he turned 100, because obviously there's this interview that he did with Oprah. Harry and Meghan did this interview with Oprah, as we know, and it has caused a huge rift in the family. And of course he has to be there for the funeral. I'm just wondering whether or not she'll be there, because she has excuses. I mean, she is pregnant, but you can travel up to 28 weeks when you're pregnant. I traveled at 30 weeks, but you're not supposed to. You're really supposed to travel only up to 28 weeks. And if she's saying that she's 5 months pregnant, and I get so confused with all the things she says. But if she's really 5 months pregnant, then she could show up to this. We know she couldn't have attended if Prince Philip turned 100, and we knew she definitely couldn't attend in July when the boys will get together, Prince William and Prince Harry, to unveil the statue of their mother, which is going to be put in the sunken garden in Kensington Palace, which is some sentimental place for her. And they've commissioned this a long time ago, but with the COVID and so on, they couldn't really go forward with it, but they were planning to do it this summer. All these things coming up, and Harry still allowed this interview to happen. I mean, seriously, you have to remember when this interview was done, Prince Philip was already ill. He was in hospital for almost a month, having heart surgery and all of it, which they would never have done if they didn't think he was going to survive, okay? Like, this is the best of the best medical care. And it's just so sad that having come out of the hospital, saying, I think that famous quote is, "What have I missed?" And everyone's like, nothing. We've had a good winter. I mean, it's not been that cold, Just a couple things. The entire family's being accused of racism and also not helping a woman who was trying to commit suicide. But apart from all of that, we're good. Everything is fine. Obviously, I hope nobody told him. But he was there, he was in the car driving away, and it's just so sad to think about how they must be feeling. And especially with this rift, how are they going to go forward? How is he going to show up there? And I don't want to take away from the mourning and everything, but I think a lot of people are really looking at this to say, can we like see how his face is going to look? Like, we're watching this funeral to see how Harry's face is going to look, or if Meghan is going to show up, or how her face is going to look. And of course we know Meghan is not the type of person to take any kind of backseat. So I think she'll probably just hide away in Hollywood instead, because she's not going to go there and be humble and pay her respects, because of course she knew Prince Philip. So if you look here, there are obviously pictures of them together. They look happy. There's a good relationship between Harry and his grandfather. But I don't know, I never like how Meghan looks in any pictures anymore. Something happened to me. I'm sorry, but I don't like how she looks. She just never looks genuine. She never looks like she's about it. She doesn't want to be there basically. So I just want to know how that's going to be going forward. As I said, she does have an excuse, but she can't travel. You know, I guess some people are discussing whether it is karma and Meghan and Harry are the cause of this. You know, they caused all of this because they stressed out everybody so much and everything. As much as we'd love to blame them for this, it's not obviously possible to. But I do think it's interesting how the public are really looking for them to take some kind of responsibility, for them to have some kind of remorse for their actions. This is the only way to make them feel remorse in our eyes, you know, to say, well, they're to blame for all of this and everything that bad that ever happens is their fault. But I do think it's an opportunity, if he comes by himself, which I'm pretty sure he will be coming by himself, for the family to sort of get together and have a little intervention type thing with him, and without her influence, although she might be on FaceTime the whole, you know, anyway. You okay? Who are you with? Are you with anyone? Who are you with? Oh, okay. Because I don't want anybody to talk to you about anything, you know? But I think that it's an opportunity for his family to even just to ask for some damage control at this point. That's the least that he could do, is go back to LA, which they're not going to stop him from going back to LA. I mean, like, come on. But if he goes, when he goes back to LA, if he could just do some damage control and maybe fix this situation, because it's made quite of, you know, it's bad. It's bad, and nobody likes them anymore. They're unlikable here. Seriously, their ratings are lowest they've ever been. So go back there and try to fix yourself, and also try to fix us. Like, just, that's your obligation. That's your loyalty to us, if you just go back there and maybe do something to fix this problem. And I think they'll have the opportunity to maybe debrief him from what he's thinking right now. I think it's fascinating that the Queen and Prince Philip have been together 73 years. You know, he did come from royalty in Greece. He's a stable, strong person who led in his own way, being married to a queen, which is such an accomplishment, and I really admire him. And yeah, there's so much to talk about with that, and I hope that I just wanted to come on here and let you know that it's sad times for us. And I really wanted to do a video on comments. Before he died, I wanted to do something on comments, but since he's died, I thought this was much more important for me to talk about. But I will do one comment from my last video. So this comment comes from M. Bartosowska. She says, Wallace was born Bessie Wallace Warfield, but she said Bessie was a name for a cow. In her time period, androgyny was very chic. Georgie was a typical nickname for girls, and fashions were more masculine and androgynous than ever. Downplaying the grandeur of a location is a very American thing, and Wallace also called their French chateau a shack and a cottage. I think based on the time period of the interview, 1969, correcting myself because I got very confused when I was doing that video. In the end, I was very tired. Anyway, 1969 was the actual date of that interview, or the year of that interview. I think based on the time period of the interview, when Wallace said she'd like to be at an advertising agency, she meant like Mad Men. It was a very trendy field at the time, as psychology and advertising had only just collided to become super powerful in influencing people's choices. There was no concept as of yet, of royal merch. There was no concept about 5 years ago of royal merch or any kind of merch, merchandising, selling merch. And you can only do that once you get to 10,000 subscribers and all that on YouTube. That's a new thing because it's a YouTube thing. I get that. But thank you so much for your comment, because I realize that you are very into trend, like you're very trend, you're up to date with the trends and everything. And I love these kind of informative comments because, it just shows you that people know a lot about history in Europe and everything. But I'm going to tell you about history in the Caribbean. Okay? The Bahamas, where she talked about this shack where she was living, nobody downplays anything in the Caribbean because people work really hard, and there are people in the Bahamas like cutting cane just to put a galvanized roof on their hut, shack, house, and there's a lot of poverty there. And I know in the time in Europe there was also a lot of poverty, because even in that same interview, Prince Edward talks about the slums in England, and he had a problem with the unemployment and people living in such poverty. And ghetto is even a word that comes from that time period, So it is very self-unaware for anybody to think it's cute or fashionable to talk about shacks in the Caribbean. That's my point. But the Bahamas had such economical problems that it became a narco-democracy. A prime minister said, you know what? Okay, F it. Let this be a transshipment point. I can't bother. We need money coming in here. That's where she was looking at this house with 4 fireplaces and talking about a shack. That's my point, is that I don't know if she wants to do that in Europe or America or wherever, but like when you come to the Caribbean where people are living with very limited resources and trying to make their way, I don't think it's cute, I don't think it's stylish, and I don't think it's fashionable. Whether she wants to call herself Bill, Georgie, Wallace, that's cute, that's fashionable. But I don't agree with the downplaying French chateaus and downplaying mansions in the Caribbean. That's my only thing. But I like to know that that's something that they found cute. Yeah, there's no humility in that. I'm not buying that humility. I don't think it's oh, how funny, she's just being so shy about her wealth. I don't find that. But thank you for the comment. Very informative. And keep the comments coming. I love them. I respond to as many as I can, and of course I will still be doing videos more frequently, as I told you. Please like, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. I would really like to reach the 10,000 subscriber mark so that I can get merch out. I'm thinking of doing some Barbados stuff. And I'm almost there, so please subscribe, and lots of love to you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.